All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Mechanic Dave, Mini Bike Steve, and this time we're going to be putting the engine into the mini bike after we get it running. It's taken a little bit of work. I think I know what the issue is. I think that it's a throttle issue because on the governed engines, the governor, when it's off, holds the throttle wide open, and then you pull start it, and it flings back to idle. So we might just need to give it a couple of beans, a little bit of dinner. So we're going to get that engine running, broken in, not broken. We're going to get it installed in the bike and hopefully get it out for a rip. So hope you enjoy. And obviously we're going to start the video off with some wicked engine noises. So cue the motor. Always use a screamer. All right, so now that we have that engine all built, the next thing to do is get the motor out of this bike. Shouldn't be too hard. It's 4 bolts and undo a couple electrical connections. We might have to steal these electrical connections from the old motor and swap them into the new motor just so everything works. Pretty easy. 10 mil on the bottom, 12 mil on the top. Comes right out. Boom. There's your stock 196cc Huangdong motor. I will be putting this to functioning condition, so I will be putting another carb on here. I will be putting a stock muffler on there, and then this motor is going to be up for sale if anybody wants to snag it. So the thing is, I gotta look and steal where these electrical connections, what they do and where they go, and move them over into the Predator. So I did a little looking on Amazon and in all the forums, and everybody says that there is no physical way of mounting the magnets, even though they unscrew. You can't drill into the flywheel and mount them because these fins will hit, and you also fuck up your flywheel unless you completely recess the hole. But even then, it still won't work. And they don't sell flywheels with those internal pickups. So this bullshit right here will not work on this engine, which means headlights powered by the engine will not work. But they sell these little adapters with switch, fuse, wires that take a DeWalt battery. And you get a good DeWalt battery on there and a full charge, it'll power an LED like that for a while. So that's what I'm going to end up having to do, is just wire in a whole separate battery source for the headlights. It is what it is, but I really want headlights. But for right now, we're going to steal the wiring harness off of the coil and move it onto the Predator motor, put it all back together, and then we're going to slam it in the bike, get it all set, and then tomorrow we can take it for a rip. And the motor is installed and running. Yay! And we got the tachometer up in there. So let me run you through what I had to do a little bit. So a little bit of modification was required to make this thing all fit in place. So let's take the bottom bracket for the clutch cover, right? It has, I had to shave a little bit of pieces of metal. Otherwise, it would be hitting the crank. And then I had to shave a little bit more metal at the end. Just to, and I honestly can't remember why I had to, but I did. Also, you'll notice that there is no longer a center in there. At about 11 o'clock last night, I was said to myself, man, this clutch cover won't fit with this bigger clutch. I'm going to have to just cut the clutch cover. I know, it's already got holes drilled all over it. Just cut it right out. Pull the whole thing right out. And then I realized, wait a minute, if I just bent this bracket, I wouldn't have had to cut anything, any hole into it. Oh well. But I did have to trim about that much due to the chain being higher up than the stock 46 tooth. And then we come over here with our new throttle assembly. As you can see, it's all hooked up. I took a spare cable and I actually had to cut it down, cut all the threads off of it and push the cable back through, and it ended up kind of fraying it a little bit, but it'll be okay. And that's all. That should all be nice and tight now. That's still able to move in there, but one thing I don't like is an initial twist. Like on the stock setup, right? You give it just that little bit of twist at idle, and it'll be able to rev right up. However, you give it that little bit of twist, and it pulls this spring before it pulls the bracket. No big deal. It's just a minor complaint. I also had to flip the pull cord the opposite direction. Otherwise, you would be pulling it towards the front of the bike. And that's no bueno. So today from Amazon, I have the DeWalt battery headlight things all coming in today. I think I'll be able to mount an on-off switch right there. And I also bought a much larger kickstand. So because of the larger suspension, the kickstand no longer makes the bike sit normally. This is how it would sit normally without the piece of wood. So no more 2x4 to hold the bike up the right way, which is nice. I was able to move the engine so the exhaust isn't flush up against the panel. So now it just needs to go into its break-in. So it's been idling. I idled it a couple of times for like 10 minutes-ish. And now it needs 10 minutes of light riding, and then change out the oil, and then put in the 1030 and honestly whatever fucking zinc additive I have left in there. And the bike should be all good. This should be just about the final stages of this bike, of it being built. So a lot of money into this thing. I want to say $500 for the bike, and then probably about $800 in all these aftermarket parts, shocks, sprocket, engine parts, engine, mirrors, handlebar risers, tachometer, pegs, foot kickstand, DeWalt lights and stuff, rear tire because that exploded. So yeah, it's an expensive build, but you know what? If I ever go to sell it, I'll be able to get way more than my money's back, with maybe $20 extra. So $20 profit. That's economics. All right, Amazon just showed up. We have the longer kickstand and headlight stuff, but I want to get the kickstand stuff installed first so the bike actually sits properly without a wooden block. All right, bike sits way better. This is a 12-inch kickstand. I'm pretty sure this is like a 10-inch. It is a little stiff, a little hard to use, but it's new. You know, throw a little bit of grease in there and whatnot. I'm sure it'll get a little easier. Plus, you know, I don't want it to just fall down while I'm riding. So it stays up pretty strong. Sits back there. Ain't bad. Works good. Makes the bike sit way better. Way better. Okay, now to make the headlights work, we have this little kit. And it's yellow. Would have been cool if it was red. Wall screws. And it looks like a little fuse guy. Hopefully those is a splice block? I don't know. And boom. Switch and an adapter. I'm pretty sure that'll just suck right into a DeWalt thing, and then try and move a light switch of sorts up on the handlebar. But I'm gonna get this thing all figured out and wired up. And yeah, I think it might get mounted. I don't know. Don't really know. All right, so the only screws I had were these really big self-tapping screws. So I had to re-shallow the self-tapping screws in there a little bit, and it is able to put it in, but as you can see, that little line on there catches just a hair, but I mean, it's enough sometimes. I have to. All right, this is not proving my point very well. Okay, so just for right now, I just gave it a little pretty shitty, just crimp connector. I had a spade terminal and I had a bullet terminal. That's all I had. I did order a switch that'll either go here or here, and it'll go all the way down. So you don't have to reach down here and flip it. But everything is connected. We got the 30 amp fuse in, and flip the switch. Boom, we have light. So, lights now work. Kickstand is installed. Engine is in place. Tachometer is installed. I think it's time to go for a ride. So, drove the bike a couple of times, and it really wasn't running all that great with the stock style carburetor. So you'll notice it now has a slide style carburetor. This is called a Maikuni, not to be confused with a Makuni, M-A-I-K-U-N-I, not with just the A removed, that you'd normally find like a snowmobile or a four-wheeler, real four-wheeler. This was off of Amazon. I think this was like 30-something bucks. And had to buy this extension tube on there with a silicone, and then a different air filter. And then, of course, I needed a different style throttle cable. And this one's actually a little bit too big. So it runs okay. Can't complain too much about it, but it does way better. So it just has the stock out of the box jetting into it right now. I'm not sure on the jet size, but I do have some other upgraded jets. Right now it's still gravity fed from the tank, and the inlet right here is the highest part, which is, you know, it's pretty close to where it should be, I guess. It stutters when going over bumps, but it may, if jetting doesn't fix the stuttering while driving sometimes, then what we'll end up doing is adding a pulse pump. So we'll need to, I hope I don't need to get rid of that spacer for one with a little thingy on there. So it would pull pulse and then pull fuel and then push it out. All with vacuum assist from the valve cover and or block. So I'm hoping I don't have to do that, because I really don't feel like taking this thing apart anymore. But 6,000 RPM, 57 miles an hour. I'm happy with it right now. So we're gonna do some. I think we're gonna go out for a ride today, me and the old lady with her bike, and yeah. We'll see how it does. Maybe I can convince her to do a drag race. And that's going to do it for this episode. We're going to do all the test driving in the next episode. Oh, where are you going? Okay, bye. And we're gonna see how fast it goes. Hopefully we don't have to modify it much more. If we do, it is what it is, I guess. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And come next time, some kitty videos. Ain't that right, little buddy? Oh, bye.